So we have a South African billionaire who literally doesn't know the first thing about our government, who has now illegally hacked and ransacked the U.S. Treasury and is destroying federal agencies. More on that in a little bit.
This may be the most insane thing that I've ever seen in politics. So we have Elon Musk illegally gaining access to the Treasury, our money, and right now nobody's doing a damn thing about it. It's frightening, and this should be the story on 24-hour news around the clock. Kyle Kulinski of Secular Talk broke all this down. We're going to take a look at clips from Kyle Kulinski's show. I'm going to share my thoughts on this as well. This is a really important story that everybody should be following closely. Let's check it out together.
All right, so let's go ahead and dive into this here. So I've been struggling with how to put this properly into words. And I say that because we truly and sincerely have never seen anything like this in the history of the United States of America. What's currently going on is, at the very least, a constitutional crisis. You could honestly say it's bordering on a coup, but Elon Musk and his DOGE team have basically illegally hacked into the U.S. Treasury, which is something we discussed previously in a separate segment the other day. But they're also ransacking federal agencies, okay? So here, let's dive into it. This is from The Guardian. The title is, Elon Musk's DOGE team granted full access to federal payment system. Trump's Treasury Secretary gives the world's richest person entry to one of the most sensitive U.S. government databases. So the dude Scott Bessent, the guy who's going to be the Treasury Secretary, this guy is hedge funder, venture capitalist, got worth like $500 million or something. Literally a paid sycophant of Trump, and just allowing access to Elon Musk illegally into the U.S. Treasury. Here, let's dive into it. Elon Musk's government slashing crew, the Department of Government Efficiency, has been given access to the federal payment system, exposing the sensitive personal data of millions of Americans, as well as details of public contractors who compete directly with Musk's own businesses. An influential U.S. senator has confirmed. Ron Wyden, a Democratic senator from Oregon and the ranking member of the Senate Finance Committee, posted on Blue Sky that sources had confirmed to him that the Treasury's highly sensitive database has been opened up to the tech billionaire and his team. Donald Trump's new Treasury Secretary, Scott Bessent, had granted the billionaire's DOGE team full access to the system. Wyden added that the data bonanza included Social Security and Medicare benefits, grants, payments to government contractors, all of it. Literally trillions of dollars of funds. Confirmation of the arrangement suggests that Musk, the world's richest person, now has entry to one of the most sensitive U.S. government databases. The system controls more than $6 trillion of federal cash flow each year, with millions of Americans depending on it for Social Security and Medicare benefits, federal salaries, and more. Now, by the way, you all remember, it wasn't that long ago, it was just a few days back, that these people illegally froze so much spending. Medicaid, which is healthcare for 72 million Americans, including low-income Americans and disabled Americans, they had froze that, right? Head Start, frozen. Meals on Wheels, frozen. Money for school breakfast and lunch for kids, frozen. Home heating assistance, frozen. All of these things were frozen illegally. There was a colossal backlash. Some of the stuff was unfrozen because there was no authority for them to do what they did. And now you have Elon Musk going even deeper into the federal government and accessing the U.S. Treasury. No authority to do it whatsoever. All right, more. Until now, the information stored on it has been exceptionally closely guarded, with only a select few officials having clearance to control it. But since the advent of the Trump administration on January 20th, members of Musk's DOGE team have been battering to be given access. On Friday, the Washington Post revealed that the Treasury Department's top civil servant had retired after more than 30 years of service. David LeBrick had clashed with Musk associates over their efforts to effectively break into the system. According to the New York Times, LeBrick had been placed on administrative leave after he objected to DOGE agents being given access. The newspaper reported that the incoming Treasury Secretary Bessent gave his permission to the new deal late on Friday. So guys, this guy worked there since 1989. He is completely apolitical or non-political. He's a civil servant. He's a bureaucrat. He's like a dot the I's and cross the T's kind of guy, rule following kind of guy. Only a handful of people have access to this payment system of the U.S. Treasury. DOGE comes in like a bull in a china shop, says, we want to access all this. He goes, you have zero authority to do that. You're not allowed to do that. That's not a thing. So he tries to fight back. Then boom, he gets placed on leave. He ends up retiring because he wants absolutely nothing to do with this criminality that he's witnessing. And now it's the wild, wild west. And you have Elon Musk literally openly talking on Twitter about canceling payments that he doesn't like. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not the way the system functions. Congress has what's called the power of the purse. That's not open to debate. Every court in the country would validate that. Right wing, left wing, center, doesn't matter. Congress has the power of the purse. The money that is allocated to be spent by Congress is once it's all said and done, once Congress passes a bill, the president signs it, everything's there, that's it. There is no, like Musk was saying, they haven't rejected not a single payment at the Treasury. Yeah, because that's not their job. That's not their job. So we have a South African billionaire who literally doesn't know the first thing about our government, who has now illegally hacked and ransacked the U.S. Treasury and is destroying federal agencies. More on that in a little bit.
So before Kyle Kulinski gets into more of this, I just want to say people should be in the streets over this. It doesn't matter what your race is, your ethnicity, your gender, your sexual orientation. This is your money in there. And this MFer, Elon Musk, is getting his hands on that money and trying to cut what he doesn't like. And we don't know what else. 6 months from now, let's say there's some kind of an audit or something, or let's say 2 years from now, the Democrats regain control of Congress and they're able to go in there and do audits. There's $500 billion we can't find. This is trillions of dollars that we are talking about here. But they say, $500 billion, we don't know what happened to it. There's no records of this. I mean, this is just insanity and should be terrifying to everybody. Doesn't matter what your political ideology is. This is our money, your money, that this unelected guy, as Kyle Kulinski said, has access to now, and we have no idea what he's doing with that. And the Democrats, I know they are not in power, but the Democrats need to be running around like their hair's on fire. They need to be on the floor of Congress. They need to be going on every show that they possibly can go on and not do the typical Democrat stuff where we're going to craft a sternly written letter to let everybody know how upset about this we are. No, they should be demanding right now that he be arrested. Elon Musk needs to be arrested, placed in jail, put on trial, and put in prison for a long, long time.
Arrangement, the Times reported, one of the DOGE members who can now scour the data of millions of Americans is Tom Krause, chief executive of the tech company Cloud Software Group. Before confirming the deal, Wyden had already sounded the alarm about Musk's attempts to break into such a sensitive federal database. On Friday, he wrote to Bessent, warning that the system was so critical, quote, it simply cannot fail. Now, by the way, what other sort of security issues are there now? Right? You got these people who have no right to access any of this data. They hack in there. They access this data. Now, everybody's security is at risk. And the other thing is, like they pointed out in this article, how many of these contractors where you can see their payments are competitors of Elon Musk? And it looks like he's been given a total green light by Trump, again, illegally, to just, delete whatever the you want to delete. They're talking that about USAID is one example of that. All right, let's continue. Wyden warned that any politically motivated meddling in them risks severe damage to our country and the economy. I can think of no good reason why political operators who have demonstrated a blatant disregard for the law would need access to these sensitive, mission-critical systems. One of the fears about granting entry to the system to a freewheeling outfit controlled by Musk is that he could use it to block payments to a large number of federal programs as part of his mission to slash and burn the U.S. government. Again, I want to reiterate this, guys. None of this is legal. None of this is constitutional. Congress has the power of the purse. The spending that's been allocated is done and over. The Treasury has no right to pause any payments whatsoever. And they are openly discussing, we're going to freeze this, we're going to freeze that, we're going to go after this, we're going to go after that. It is slash and burn. We are witnessing slash and burn. And the thing that is, I just cannot wrap my mind around, is nobody seems to be doing anything to reel this back in. I don't see the Democrats doing shit. I don't see the courts doing shit. I don't see legal groups doing shit. So it's sit back and watch the show, and then after the fact, there'll be criticism, I'm sure, but the damage will be done. And then also, you have Elon Musk doing all this stuff. Let's imagine a scenario where he's correctly arrested, which is what should happen. Donald Trump will probably come out the next day and say, I'm giving him a full pardon for whatever the fuck you guys are arresting him for. That's it. Let him go and let him keep continuing his work. The Supreme Court gave us this reality. When they said, hey, anything that's an official act or anything that even you just perceive as an official act is allowed, well, Trump's obviously going to be like, I'm granting DOGE the authority as an official act to slash and burn here. Guys, what we are witnessing is a Javier Milei-like takeover, where they're going to try to slash everything in sight that they personally don't like. Anarcho-capitalism to the max for you, but of course, endless corporate welfare and subsidies for the robber barons who, as I've pointed out, are going to run out the back door with all the money. Wyden also suggested that the move could pose a national security threat, given Musk's extensive business interests in China, which in turn could give the Chinese intelligence services a pipeline into U.S. data. This endangers U.S. cybersecurity and creates conflicts of interest that make Musk's access to these systems a national security risk.
It's just insane. And Kyle Kulinski is right. Unfortunately, if they put Elon Musk in prison, Trump would pardon him. But they still have to do it. They can't just say, nah, we can't do that because then, what's the point? Trump will just pardon him. We can't let these scumbags get off scot-free. I mean, the Democrats have to fight. They have to do everything within their power. And some Republicans should come out. You've got the Republicans and MAGA, and I've seen it all over social media today where, they love it because it's the stuff that they don't like being cut. But that's not how our government works. This is money allocated by Congress. And if you don't like that, then you vote different people into Congress and maybe they get rid of some of these things that you don't like. But once it has been approved, then Elon Musk and Donald Trump don't have the right to go in and screw around with our money again and determine where it goes and probably steal it, which is what, I'm sure is going to happen. This is insanity, and people have to stand up against this. They can't just, tune out whatever, because this is your Social Security money. This is Medicare, Medicaid, funding for things that might be, even if you're a right winger, might be important to you. So we cannot allow this to stand. To this, as Kyle Kulinski is saying, he's South African. This guy wasn't even born in the United States. And he now has control of our money. It's just insanity. Let me know in the comments what you think about all of this, what you think should be done, what the Democrats should be doing, or if there are any Republicans left with any principles at all, they would be fighting against this too. Let me know in the comments what you think. Make sure to give me a like and subscribe. This is Chris on Culture, and I will see you in the next video.